Hey everybody, how's it going? This is John Breed and it is February 9th, 2021, a Tuesday night. I'm here to talk about the Busch Clash that just wrapped up at the Daytona Road Course. It is the kickoff to what is going to be, as NASCAR on Fox said, the best season of NASCAR ever. That's what they said. They are predetermining that this is going to be the best season ever. I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would predetermine that something's going to be the best ever, but that's what they're doing. This is going to be the best season ever. I hope it is, but I would not predetermine that. But anyway, I got some stuff to talk about, mainly just the review of the Busch Clash. Kyle Busch won the Busch Clash. That's right. Obviously, everybody knows what happened there on the last lap, if you tuned in. Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott going into the last corner, and they got together and crashed. Kyle Busch, running third at the time, got by and won the race. So, when they announced that the Busch Clash was going to be on the Daytona Road Course, I was very negative on it at first. I was like, you're going to do the Busch Clash, the season opener, is going to be on a road course. Why? Like, why are you doing this? Everybody, like, when NASCAR starts up, like, everybody's ready for speed weeks. Everybody's ready for super speedway racing, and here you are doing the Busch Clash on a road course. Like, I just didn't understand it. And I thought, man, like, this is just not going to be as good if it were on the super speedway. And I don't know if it is or not, but I really enjoyed this race. I mean, I can't sit here and say whether or not I prefer the road course over the super speedway, but as the Busch Clash race, but I really enjoyed this race. I thought first off that the visual, I mean, the cars at night on this road course, I mean, it looked awesome. And if it were me, I would add that underglow that they had for the All-Star race last year, and get, like, for the cars, like, match the colors with their paint schemes. But that's just me. I mean, other than that, I mean, the cars looked really cool on the road course, and it was a really good race. I thought it was a fun race. There was a lot of good racing going on, a lot of drama there late in the end, late in the race, and a good finish. A good finish for sure. And so, let's go ahead and talk about, I'll go ahead and talk about the finish, because it's what everybody's talking about. So, just in case you didn't see this race, Ryan Blaney took the lead from Chase Elliott with 2 laps to go. And Ryan Blaney was on a little bit fresher tires. He had came into pit there at the end of that last caution. Chase didn't. But Chase held his own. He hung right there with the 12. And so they come to the white flag, and Chase is staying close to him. He's driving it hard in the corners. He's getting close to him, getting to his bumper. And finally, they come around for the last turn, and Blaney even said in his interview, he overdrove that last corner just a little bit, and Chase got underneath him. Chase hit the curb in and got into Ryan Blaney as Blaney was trying to correct himself, get back into the line he wanted to run after he drove it off a little bit, and they got together. Blaney spun, and Chase had no momentum coming out of the corner, and Kyle Busch was able to sneak by and win the race in the last turn. Very exciting finish, and initially when I saw it, I put up on my Instagram story. You can follow me on Instagram at NASCAR Images. I put up on my story, well, Kyle wins after Chase dumps Blaney. Because initially, I mean, the angle they showed, I mean, when I saw it, I'm like, it's pretty clear Chase dumped Blaney there. But, I mean, after seeing the replays, after seeing alternate angles, and I know I'm going to catch flack for this, that I'm white knighting Chase Elliott, so you guys can get mad at me, but I mean, when he went in the corner, he kind of hit the curb, and when he came back up, Blaney was already turning back into him. So they kind of came together at the wrong time, and it looked like a racing deal. I know some people are just going to blame Chase regardless. I know some people may even blame Ryan Blaney for it, but I mean, to me, it was a racing deal. And it's the last turn of the last lap in an exhibition race. And they were going for it. They were going for a trophy. And it just didn't work out. I was surprised, though, that Chase was able to hang there with Blaney after Blaney had passed him, because Blaney looked pretty fast. I mean, Denny Hamlin was really strong early in the race. Martin Truex Jr. looked good until he wrecked. And I thought for sure once Blaney passed Chase, that was it. But then Chase started getting these big runs into the corner, and I mean, Ryan said in his interview that he had already used his stuff up just trying to get by Chase, and that's why he didn't have as much strength in those tires as he did beforehand. So that was the clash. Kyle Busch won, and obviously Kyle fans are happy about that. He led one lap, the last one, the most important one. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if this is the year for Kyle to win the Daytona 500. He's come close multiple times and just hadn't quite gotten it done. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes throughout the week. I mean, here on this road course, usually you can sometimes get an indicator in the clash, kind of what teams are going to be strong come Daytona 500 time. And I mean, this was on the road course, so obviously we're not going to see who's going to be strong for the 500 until we watch the duels on Thursday night. And I mean, of course, Wednesday in qualifying, we'll see who's strong as well. So let's talk about this race here. Let's go start from the beginning. So Ryan Blaney actually did start on the pole in the random draw, and they took the green flag. It was 35 laps. The competition caution came out lap 15, and Blaney actually overdrove the first corner, and so just a little bit, and Denny was able to take the lead. And so Denny took the lead. He had the lead for a while, and then actually on lap 1, Joey Logano had a really bad wheel hop. He kind of hit the curb, and it looked like it really messed up the front end of his car. And he actually came over the radio and said the engine sounded weird. And so I figured, oh man, this guy's going to have a blown engine or something here shortly. But he didn't. So, surprisingly enough, he was able to hold up and actually finish third. But nonetheless, Denny Hamlin took the lead early. And in these first 15 laps, it was kind of weird, actually. Because Kevin Harvick actually spun going through the bus stop on the backstretch. And it got some dirt up onto the racing surface. And so for these next couple of laps, these guys are just driving through the dirt and getting dirt all up on their windshield and all over their hood. I mean, they look like they were racing at Eldora. I mean, especially, I think it was Chase's car, who was just covered in dirt. Looked like he could barely see. And eventually they did throw the caution for that, but for a couple of laps there, I mean, those guys were just driving straight through the dirt. And so caution came out around lap 10, and then they had another restart, and I believe, Denny Hamlin actually pitted. A couple of guys pitted under his first caution. Blaney took the lead back. He once again overdrove the restart. And this time, when he tried to get back up onto the racetrack as they worked through the first turn, they kind of got bottlenecked up, and Kevin Harvick spun again. It's a pretty bad night for Mr. Harvick. And then Tyler Reddick actually got to the lead on this restart. He was looking really strong those opening laps. But then Denny Hamlin would take the lead right back. And then, actually, Martin Truex Jr. would take the lead right before the competition caution. So Truex was looking strong, but then something weird happened. So Martin Truex was penalized for cutting the inner loop on the front stretch when the caution came out. And I didn't exactly get what he said on the radio, but he said something like he was expecting the pace car to come out, and I guess he thought that was all right. I didn't fully catch what he said about it, but nonetheless, he made a mistake, and he had to go to the back after being in the lead for that penalty. So they had some pit stops going on here, and Kurt Busch actually got out front through the cycle of pit stops, and then he overdrove this next restart to start, I guess you could say it was the second stage, but it was after the competition caution. He overdrove it, almost ran down into the tire barriers, but he got it turned back around, and so then Hamlin regained the lead again. And then on lap 22, Cole Custer overshot the corner, and the caution came out on lap 22. He had some sort of mechanical problem. He started smoking and then just kind of stopped there on the racetrack, and they threw the caution, and actually flames started to deploy from the 41 car, so something mechanical went on there. And then Joey Logano also was penalized because I guess he didn't enter pit road in order. So I guess perhaps maybe he passed somebody going to pit road. I didn't exactly catch what happened there either, but he was penalized and sent to the back. So then the restart after this lap 22 caution. It was Denny Hamlin up front. Martin Truex Jr. was fighting back through the pack. He got back to second through this restart. Chase Elliott got up to 6th place. Chase actually came in under that caution because he was reporting that he was having a hard time in the turns, having trouble. I guess he was tight. So nonetheless, Truex got back up to second. Then went 8 laps to go. So 8 laps to go. It's Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney. They're running 1, 2, 3. And Blaney looked stronger than both of them, because Truex was battling hard with Denny, and Blaney was able to close the gap. So Truex got the lead from Denny with 8 to go, and then Blaney got by Denny, but then they go through the inner loop of the backstretch, and Truex just spins out. Looks like he got loose through the bus stop, just kind of slid the tires, and he ended up hitting the outside wall pretty hard. It looked like a pretty hard hit, and Truex kind of just said he just kind of messed up, so... Sucks for Truex. I mean, he was looking really strong there, and I mean, I thought for sure once Blaney got to second, I'm like, okay, Blaney's going to get by Truex because he looked really fast. But yeah, so all right, so that was the last caution of the race. So we had pit stops here. Blaney was one of the guys that came in. So 6 cars stayed out, which included, of course, Chase. And then Kurt Busch was second. And then it was Reddick and Logano, the front 4. And then Blaney was 7th. He was the first car in line on fresh tires. So 4 to go, the restart. And, sorry, I don't think it was 4 to go. I think it was actually 6 to go. Blaney was up to second already with 4 laps to go. And I thought, man, there's no way Chase is going to be able to hold him off. And through all that, I think it was the next lap with 3 to go. Reddick and Chris Buescher were battling for a spot, and it looked like Reddick just turned him. I mean, they were going down the, getting into the last corner there, the inner loop, and Reddick just kind of got into Buescher and spun him out. Buescher came up the track and collected Alex Bowman. And no caution for this, though. So Blaney's in second, and he's starting to close in on Chase. And as I already discussed, 2 to go, Blaney gets by Chase. And then Chase, though, did not let him go. He stayed right with him. And they come around for the white flag, and Chase is getting closer. He's driving it in really hard. I don't know how Chase didn't overdrive the car at any of those points, but he was really driving the car hard. And he gets to Blaney, coming to the checkered in the inner loop, and as mentioned, they got together in the last turn. Blaney spun, went up, hit the outside wall, but Chase obviously had to check up to avoid just absolutely getting collected with Blaney, and so he didn't have any momentum. Kyle Busch came through, passed Chase, and won the Busch Clash. Kyle Busch, his second time winning the Busch Clash. His last win in that race was 2012. You remember that photo finish with Tony Stewart. And so, yeah, Kyle Busch off to a good start in 2021 after what some would call his worst season last year in 2020. And so there you go. Kyle Busch wins the Busch Clash. Overall, I was entertained. I thought it was a good race. And yeah, I mean, I really liked the idea as well of, you know, as I mentioned, how cool the cars looked at night on the road course. I mean, I really thought it was a good visual. And I mean, if you tune into this race, I think you got something good. So, great race, and I'm looking forward to everything coming up this week. We got Daytona 500 qualifying tomorrow night. We have the duels on Thursday to set the field for the Daytona 500. Then it is the truck race Friday night. Saturday afternoon is the ARCA race. And then the Xfinity race is Saturday evening, 5 o'clock. And then, of course, Sunday, 2:30, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. So that's the Busch Clash. The only other thing I want to touch on was I was watching the pre-race show, and I saw the interview with Steve Phelps, the president of NASCAR. He had a sit-down interview with Jamie Little, and Jamie's, asking him about, how they handled COVID last year, and how did they get to this point in 2021, and they basically just talking about COVID protocols, and then they mention obviously banning the Confederate flag last year, and talking about how, they want to be as welcoming as possible. And one interesting thing I thought that Steve Phelps said was that, celebrities have been more interested now. If you look at, guys like Bernard Pollard, the NFL player, and some other celebrities, that they're more interested in NASCAR now than ever. And I also thought it was interesting how he said, your fans, they're not going to like every race. And he said, that's okay as long as we do the best we can to, get as many races that the fans do like. And I mean, I do have to agree with that. I mean, the fans, you're not going to like every race. And some races are going to be boring. Some races are going to be not so boring. Some races are going to be awesome. And, you can obviously say that, the quality of racing over the past, couple of years hasn't been as good as before. And it's a fair argument. But at the same time, I mean, that's just sometimes how it goes. And so I really hope that, we do see a lot of exciting racing this year. And I think we will. And, I mean, as long as they're making changes, as long as they're trying hard to make it more entertaining, not try to, overkill it. I mean, we don't need any more group qualifying. That's for sure. We don't need any more group qualifying. But, I mean, if you're trying new things and you're trying to make it more entertaining, I mean, I'm all for it. So, and, I mean, obviously they did not talk about the fact that, they didn't touch on the fact that, well, NASCAR's been on the decline in TV ratings and attendance and things like that, which, I mean, last year it stabilized. It was not down from 2019, but, I mean, I think that's kind of what Steve was kind of hitting on in not mentioning the low ratings and things like that is, listen, some races, they're going to be better than others, but some races you're not going to like. But we're just going to make an effort to make as many good races as possible. And that's really all you can do. So, that was the interview with Steve Phelps. And that's all I have for tonight. I will be back probably, I might do a review show Thursday night to review qualifying for the Daytona 500 as well as the duels. And then maybe another one Friday morning to kind of preview everything. Just so I don't have to do one really long video recapping the duels and qualifying and also previewing the 500. I can kind of split that up. So I'll be back later this week to talk more speed weeks, and that's all. Everybody have a good night.